What is MobileGeddon and how will it affect us? John here, episode 108 of the Marketing for Owners podcast. I am on the final day in the Alps. It's the end of the day, by the way. It's a bit quieter on the slopes, getting a quiet bit without people trying to bump into me. So that's why the lifts are stopped. For those of you that are watching the video, for those of you that are on audio, I'll try and describe it. It's beautiful, it's peaceful. You can see some mountains in the background. Now, this, just for your FYI, if you watch my finger just there, behind that thing, that mountain that you cannot see the top of because of the cloud cover is Mont Blanc. That is Europe's highest mountain, and it's there, and we can see it from our apartment, and that is dead cool. Mont Blanc, I suppose you think I ought to have looked up how high it is. I have no real idea, but I think it's about 10 or 10,500 meters. No, it can't be, can it? Anyway, it's high, and no, you can't ski on it, not from the top. Well, you can if you're probably really clever. It's over near Chamonix, not where we are. We're in Aime-la Plagne. And before I just get onto the thing, just to let you know, little showing off, all this system stuff, all this marketing stuff that I talk about, you can't see it here, but our apartment is over there. We have a lovely skiing apartment. I'm actually on the piste, right on the slope. We can see all this stuff, and all that marketing stuff that I talk about enables you to make little investments like that. It works, this stuff, by the way. So, MobileGeddon, back to the subject. Yes, John, stop showing off. MobileGeddon, what is it? Well, what this means, Google, remember those, our good old friends Google? We all, for our websites, we all depend on people searching on Google and finding our stuff. Well, every now and again, Google announces changes to its algorithm and its, the way it ranks websites in its search engine. But this time, Google has announced a massive change, and it's been nicknamed MobileGeddon. It happens on April the 21st, 2015. So, by the way, if you're watching this afterwards, sorry, you should have subscribed and got the download. But what's going to happen is that Google is going to set up a second search engine specifically for mobile search. So it's going to have one for desktop, and when you then look on a mobile, like on your iPhone, it's going to use a different search engine algorithm. But in its preparation for that, it's trying to teach people that we ought to be ready for mobile. And the reason this is so major is Google have never, ever, ever announced in advance that they are going to shake up the search engine algorithm and the way you rank. And in their announcement, which they made a little while ago, we've had plenty of time for this, in their announcement, they used the words, a significant impact. In fact, it has been touted that this will have more impact than the Panda filter and the Penguin filter, possibly more than Hummingbird. But initially, it seems that it's likely to affect your mobile rank. Possibly not the desktop, but very likely to be the desktop as well. Because it's like, I mean, let me make an analogy. If you were ranking hotels, you would rank hotels that keep up with the times. So if lots of hotels offered Wi-Fi and then made Wi-Fi free, you would probably think those better than hotels that didn't bother to offer Wi-Fi at all. And especially those horrible ones that charge you a fortune for it. Google is saying that. Google is saying, if you make the effort to keep up with the times, we're going to show your website to people who search for your products. But if you're old-fashioned, and we can tell because we have special little robots that crawl your site, if you're going to be old-fashioned, we're not going to offer you up because it makes us look bad. Now, what you may not realize is that I read in a research, can't remember who by, but it's something recent, 61% of searches are made on mobile devices. Yes, 61%. That is a lot, and it is growing and growing and growing. And Google have to face up to the fact that they're losing some advertising clout to Facebook on mobiles. Google, don't worry, Google will advertise, make a fortune, but it needs to get going on the mobile, so it's changing things up. And what you have to do is have your website ready. Now remember, it's episode 108. We'll give you a link, because Google have put up a link where you just enter your website address, your www.com, whatever, in there, hit the button, and Google will run a test through your website and give you a result of how it looks on mobile to them, and whether they think it's good enough, whether they give it a green light, or if they don't like it, they will tell you specifically what is wrong. And quite often, it's things like the links, when you put them into a little tiny smartphone thing, are too close together, and fat fingers like mine can't do it, and we're not all going to squidge and readjust the size of the screen. What you need is either a specific mobile website or a responsive design. And a responsive design means that the website will automatically resize for the device it's being viewed on. Personally, I would say responsive design is what you want, because to start up a completely different website for mobile users is expensive, more upkeep, and it's for companies with deep pockets. But if you've been following what we've been teaching you here at Marketing for Owners, you of course will use a WordPress website. And most WordPress, if you use the Genesis framework, which is what we've recommended, virtually all of their templates, and they say it very clearly, are mobile responsive, usually HTML5, and they are responsive straight out of the tin. If you look at the marketingforowners.com website and then go and look at it on an iPhone, it will resize and it will work. That's just Genesis. We use the Rainmaker platform, which is all the same gang, but it's a Genesis template that we use that has been tweaked. Simple as that. You really, really need to get hold of this. If you go back to your website company and they say, okay, we can do it, but we're a bit busy because everyone's asking, it's going to cost, then now is the time to get off that website, get it moved to WordPress. You can have just the plain Genesis framework. You can find a web designer on something like Freelancer who will transfer your entire website as it is and the design into WordPress and have it all working and responsive, and it'll all look exactly the same if you want. Personally, I'd say go back, listen to what we've told you about what the elements of a good website should be, and make this the time to change. Don't update an old website that wasn't working before. Get it working. Honestly, you won't regret it. Google will love you, and so will your customers. And I bet you hardly any of your competitors are even aware of this change. You, my friend, are in the right place. Get it done. Okay, Wednesday, time for a friendly follow. And we've got a lovely lady, Sue Ann Dunlevy, and her handle is at Sue Ann, and with an E, Dunlevy. Again, go to marketingforowners.com/podcast/108. That's the way they always work, every episode, and you will find the links for the Google test site, or you can just Google mobile test. It will bring it up. And we'll also have the links for Sue Ann. Sue Ann runs a website called successfulblogging.com. She's lovely. I love her tweets, and she seems to have a great character. Puts her face up there. She's very real. She talks to beginner bloggers, all the things that we like to know about. Very, very helpful. So go and have a look at Sue. Follow her, see what she does, and see if you can learn from her, and see what she does, see if you can learn from the way she does it. This is all good. By the way, slippery standing on this thing. I almost fell over then. But don't worry, tomorrow I'm going to be driving home. It's only 600 miles. It's only going to take us 10 or 11 hours. Oh. But anyway, I'll be back home in Deal in Kent next week. Hopefully the sun will still be there. But I'll see you then.